morning, folks. And what I want to do for the next few minutes is not exactly what I was advertised I was going to do. I want to broaden beyond green buildings and try to provide a little bit of a platform for the rest of the morning's discussion. I'll mention green buildings, but I want to focus more broadly on the challenge of upgrading our energy infrastructures. Next slide, please. This is a picture of all of the supplies of energy in the United States, all the different sources of energy that we have, and its disposition, what we use it for. And the basic idea is that we have a fairly diverse set of sources: coal, natural gas, nuclear energy, hydroelectric power, petroleum. A lot of it is imported. And then we use it, but we don't just immediately use it. First, we need to transform it and process it a little bit. We need to turn the petroleum into gasoline. We need to turn the coal into electricity. And during that process, we waste a lot of the embodied energy. We dissipate a lot of it. And then finally, we end up using it for a variety of things that we can all relate to. Keeping our homes comfortable, the right temperature, the right amount of light, the right amount of entertainment. Our commercial enterprises, we need to keep them going, our industrial enterprises, and our transportation system. If you could click, there are three areas that I want to identify as being really problematic in our current energy economy. The first is imported oil. That's in the lower left. Go back one, please. That is, we've seen the results of becoming overly dependent on non-domestic energy sources, and that has meant things like energy price spikes, foreign adventures. Second thing I want to point out is our electricity sector sends 2/3 of the energy we feed it up the smokestack, a huge waste. And that's something that we really ought to be doing something about, and we need to rethink the electricity sector. And then the third thing that jumps out when you look at the national energy picture is our transportation system. We send more like 4/5 of the energy we put into our cars out the tailpipe. We simply don't have very efficient engines, and so we have a huge amount of waste there. That suggests that maybe there's some opportunities. Maybe we can kill two birds with one stone. Maybe we ought to be thinking about things like marrying our transportation sector to our electricity sector in new and innovative ways. Okay, next slide, please. So as I see it, the challenge that we face in this country in the energy realm is that we now have to really deal with global warming. We've accepted that this is a problem and it's our responsibility. We have to deal with the fact that fossil fuel availability is problematic, and certainly over the last couple of years we've seen that it can become unaffordable too. And third, we need to deal with the fact that we have not been regularly reinvesting in our energy economy, and our energy infrastructure is deteriorating, especially the electricity infrastructure, I'll argue. Now there are some solutions which you're going to start hearing about from me and the other speakers. A real push on energy efficiency, we clearly need to do that. There are lots of new energy sources that we would like to use, cut back on the coal and the petroleum and ramp up the wind and the solar and the biomass and the geothermal. There are new delivery systems for that energy. We need to get it from where we produce it to where we use it, and that's going to mean increasing reliance on the electricity grid and also possibly some new energy carriers like hydrogen. And we need to do all this in a smarter way, which means substituting intelligence and computing and telecommunications power for steel and concrete, and also just thinking more about how we send signals and manage all of this better. Now, there's some real challenges in taking on that list, and I see them as coordination challenges above all. what should the state be doing? What should the federal government be doing in setting up policy frameworks and incentives and so forth? And what should the public sector be doing, and what should the private sector be doing? Who's going to finance all these things? Who's going to take the initiative? How do we find the right balance there? So those are the things that I'm going to be speaking to. Next, please. Let's start with the basic question: what's government's role in the economy? And we've moved over the last month from the night watchman's view. Government is just there to keep the factory floor safe and turn out the lights when we've all gone home. We're now accepting that maybe we need government to be a rule maker and umpire as well. We need to have government be an active regulator. What I love is being able to quote Milton Friedman for this insight. It's something that we're going to argue about forever, government's proper role, and so that means that we need to all take a Hippocratic oath at the beginning of this and say, above all, we're going to try to do no harm when we have government intervening in the economy. Next, please. There is a long-standing accepted wisdom of fiscal federalism about who does what. What should the federal government do? What should the states be doing? And you can boil it down to just a few bullets. We should centralize, give responsibility